wasn't recording. What the heck? Here comes the yelling. I don't know how much of that recording I missed, but I just started out, so I'm on my way from the gas. I'm on my way from. Just go up and get him, please, Seth. Stop. He's doing it on purpose, guys. He's looking right at me. So anyway, I was talking about, I don't know, something or other. Oh, how the weight affects the truck. This truck especially will tip over a lot easier when you're full up like this. And this game does a pretty good job of simulating weight. So like, you know, if your truck is full, you can see here before where I just drove right over it, I'm now sinking in because the truck is 12,000 liters heavier than normal. So it's actually sucking into the mud and getting stuck. And, you know, that's why I don't like pulling the trailers with these smaller trucks, because the trailers just end up bogging it down and it gets stuck very easily. So here at least we have, with the smaller attachment, we can still pull through. Though the tree is, I'm stuck on that little branch. What's the matter, Roo? Oh, as far as the physics.
The coloring and the lighting.
Yeah, it is. It'd be great if they could get the farm sim into this engine. Man, can you imagine what you could do with the deformable terrain and the Listen to what Goose is telling you, Rye.
Look at the truck bounce.
Okay, go get it.
That's what they do in real life, too.
Yeah, like they just did a great job with the physics. Can you help her get the kit together, Ryan? I see Ryan's getting the bug now, watching me play it. He's like, I'm going to reinstall it. They really did a good job with this game. Like I said, it's not like the most realistic, but actually, you know, the funny thing is, if you compare it to its competitor, sort of, you know, the like Euro Truck Simulator, the Farming Simulator, all those things that do similar things to this game definitely has the best physics out of all of them. And even though you don't sit in the cab like in Euro Truck Simulator, this game does a much better job simulating off-road trucking. And even like the on-road portion's pretty good. Like, I wonder if they took this engine and put it in the Euro Truck Simulator. It'd be kind of interesting. I don't think you really need to have that, but more realistic physics would be pretty cool. Anyway. One of the things that you gain by not licensing the game, like this is definitely a gas truck, but they don't call it that. They just call it a C255. One of the things that you gain by that is that you can have the vehicles get damaged with the Farm Sim and with Euro Truck Simulator. Everything is licensed through those companies, so you lose that ability to damage the vehicles. That most companies do not want to have their. Yeah, that's fine. Most companies do not really want to have their vehicles damaged in the game. They don't want that showing up, so that they feel it gives the company a bad image or whatever. So most companies will not allow you to show your vehicle being damaged. So one of the things that this guy did to get around that is he just made it look exactly like it, but called it something else. And that, I kind of in some ways wonder if that's what they should have done with the Farm Sim. You could probably have made the game, I don't want to say a lot cooler, but you could have made it, definitely the physics and the damage model and stuff, a lot better. You know, things like stressing out your transmission and stuff by, you know, getting it dug in, or pulling equipment that's too heavy for a tractor and it gets damaged because you're you know, you've got a giant baler and you're pulling it with a 20 horsepower tractor and you're ripping the transmission out of the tractor. That would be kind of cool to be able to simulate that kind of stuff. I've almost wondered, it's a dream of mine. I find it hard to share. I'm just kidding. About doing a Kickstarter and seeing if I can find a developer or two who could take this engine and turn it into a farm simulator game. Now, the downside is most people play the farm simulator because they like certain brands. So like John Deere people don't like the farming simulator as much because it doesn't have a lot of John Deere equipment in there. But if we could make an open-ended moddable game that would have generic tractors in it and generic equipment that would have names like Kabunland or something, you know. New London tractors. We could take that and make it a like this, where we use this kind of engine and have. I mean, look at these graphics compared to the Farm Sim graphics. This would go great with the Farm Sim. Look at the mud. You can still have the cleaning and stuff, but it just looks amazing. Nighttime looks amazing. Like, everything looks amazing in this game. Maybe the camera angles suck, but if you could figure out a way to make this engine work for the farming simulator, it would be pretty cool. So, I don't know. Just my thought. Get together a development team and see if we can't put together a good farming simulator product, but it would have to be a crowdfund type deal. So anyway, because I don't have money myself to do it, but I think that we could really wait a minute, why did it that's why I think that we could do a much better job than Giants did. Probably wishful thinking, but I don't know. Alright, so I've used up half my fueling up that guy. I'm thinking, gosh, it's hard to know what to do here, but I think... Get off that frickin'... There we go. I'm thinking that we need to...
You were making these in the back the whole time.
Oh, well, we're only driving up to the high school. It's 5 minutes away. Maybe we should use this other truck and get it fueled up. Like that, the older Maz, the 8-wheel drive. This guy right there. And get him... Because he's got that fuel tank on him. Maybe we should fuel him up too. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to take this guy back to our point. Really, our logging truck's only going to have to get to the objective once. Because he's already got half the logs on him that we need to complete the mission. So, if I can get him back there once, we should be good to go. And then there's no problem. But... if I can't get him back there once, I don't have to think about this. And he'll only need, when he gets back there, he'll probably need close to 600 again. I think this map takes about 500 for him to cross from end to end. So we can always stop at the fuel station, though. Well, we'll see how it pans out. We'll try it the fast way first. And if worse comes to worse, like I said, we can always run a fuel mission. This guy can go meet him and fuel him up. And then fuel him up again on his way back up. So... it's not the end of the world if he doesn't make it, but anyway, wouldn't it be cool? And then you could have a damage model for your tractors. If you're a little too aggressive, you'd have to take it in and get it fixed, or call a maintenance guy out. And then they have like a little pickup truck up, and the guy would fix the tractor and charge you money. You could really start out with some, I don't know. There's just all kinds of different things you could do. It would be fun. Just a thought out there. I don't know. I might, unfortunately, I'm unlike, Tobuscus and the Tobuscus game, which I don't know if that ever came out. I don't have a huge following. I've only got I've got getting close to 5,000 subscribers, but I currently only have 4,000 subscribers, so that's probably not enough people to get a crowdfund game going. But if we could get the idea out there, I don't know. It's something to think about. I've been kind of tossing it around in my head, like, boy, wouldn't that be fun to put together a game like this, but make it, way better. So, what thinkest you? Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Thumbs up for if it's a good idea. I just need to set the map. I want to make sure I don't get lost on the way there, because there's little routes that pop off. Alright. Oops. And we'll put that here. And then there. See, there's a side route I almost went down, and that's not where we're supposed to be going. The other question is, can this truck make it with the fuel that I have left? I might have to refuel him. That would take away some of our stockpile of fuel. He's getting kind of low on fuel. He definitely won't make the other fuel station, but he could possibly make the logging area. I didn't think about that. Yee. Well, we'll see how it plays out. I wonder how you would even get access to this engine, if the guy would sell it, or if you'd have to approach them with money and say, hey, we'd like to take this and develop it into this. Or can you, how hard is it to make new models for this? What kind of program do you have to make? Tractor models, buildings, animals, animated animals, though they have some animated birds. Watch. Oh, they didn't come out. I'm not close enough to the brush. Nope, no birds at night, huh? They've already got the logging in the game. They've got some of the logging features, so you could use some of that, you know. I don't know. Just a thought. You have to figure out how to put a train in. For those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, check out my farming sim videos. I think most of you probably do, but it's another great game. One of those small development games that is just awesome. Oh, time to go. All right, we went to the band concert. It was horrible, as predicted. I'm sorry, but high school. Oh, you know, the one thing was though, there was a kid there that was amazing. Like he was the first chair violin for the senior orchestra, and he was. You could tell his heart was completely in it, like every note. He was really, really. I'm very picky when it comes to music, and those concerts are really hard for me. Like I'm gritting my teeth the whole time. But this kid was on fire with that violin. So anyway, that was fun to see that. But in general, it was. They're high school kids, you know. Most of them are there because their parents make them do it. A few of them are there because they love music, you know, and. Music is an interesting thing, man. I've been around it my whole life. I did it for a while. Not anywhere on a pro level, but on a semi-pro level. And talent is an interesting thing. Some people have different ways of getting music. Some people are very improvisational. Some people are very technical. And once in a while, in a very rare while, you get somebody who's both technical and they're also good at improvisation. It's rare though, but once in a while you find somebody that really has that. As far as like guitar players go, Paul Gilbert is one of those guys. He's an extremely technical player, but he's also able to rip off a very emotional lead that's not just a bunch of notey notes. He's good at doing both, like real fast and technical stuff, but he's also good at like giving a guitar solo feeling. He's one of the few guys that I've seen that can do both. But in life, I've met a lot of musicians, keyboard players. A lot of times are either very technical or very improvisational, but a lot of times they aren't both. I happen to be the improvisational, so any kind of music that you hear, I don't know what I'm doing as far as music goes. All the music that you hear on this channel is my music. I don't, because of licensing and copyright, I don't use other people's music. So anything that you hear, hang on a second, where did that go? Anything that you hear musically on my channel is something that I've created. But the funny thing is about all that, I don't write anything. I don't know how to write music. I just or I guess write notes. Like I don't know what notes I'm playing, sort of. I understand music theory. It's weird. I'm one of those. It's an improv thing. So it's like I started playing guitar, and I realized early on that I wanted to actually play guitar. Hang on, I gotta find my way through here. I'll go this way. Oh, I suppose we're gonna have to go through the woods. This is gonna be dangerous because we run the risk of tipping, but we'll get there. So anyway, I'm the improv type. When I learned how to play guitar, I watched my friends go to lessons every week, and then they'd come home and be like, dude, I can play this Boston song. And I'm like, well, that's really cool. Can you play something just different, like make something up? And they couldn't do it, none of them. Like all my friends that took guitar lessons, none of them could actually improv. They could just play back what they learned at their lesson. So it was like this practiced, boring, like, oh, I can play this Boston song. Well, let's hear one of your songs. So I can't do that. Oh, jeez, the kids. They're supposed to be in bed. This is my bedtime here. They're in the other room playing on the computer. So hold on a sec, guys. I don't know where I was going with all that, and I'm all confused. So anyway, as I was saying, my friends were all learning how to play Boston songs, and I was like, I want to learn actually how to play the guitar and write my own music and play my own leads and just actually play the instrument. So what I did was I self-taught. Didn't really have money for lessons, but I got a chord book, and I learned all the chords, just learned how to play them myself. Had all the fingerings wrong, going back now, I look back, my friend, who is also a really good guitar player, he calls me platypus hands, because he's like, man, you're all over that thing. It's just not the right way to play it. But it works. And so he, because I'm always writing stuff, like he was in a band with me for a while, and I'd write stuff, and then he would have to learn how to play it. Oh, hang on a second. No, he'd have to learn how to play what I composed. Seth is asking me.
Compose is right.
Yeah, I would write it with how do you write music when you don't know how to read music? But I did, and then he would have to learn how to play what I wrote, and he'd be like, "Man, I can't do that with my fingers." Like he's like, "You're not supposed to be able to do that." So he always called me platypus hands. Anyway, but within a year, I learned how to play chords, and then I also started learning how to play scales. And then I figured out, like, hey, if I really want to do well playing leads and making stuff up instead of just learning what other people played, I should learn how to really vocalize with the guitar. So what I would do is I'd play like all my favorite music, and instead of just playing what the lead guitar player played, I would play along with the vocals to kind of learn how to vocalize the guitar, so that I could play and make up vocal lines with it. Because really, with the guitar, you really do sing with it when you're playing leads. And if you're not singing with it, well, it's probably not a very good lead. So you want to be able to imagine with your mind like you're singing it. And that, to me, made sense. So I went and started to really learn how to vocalize the guitar, and it helped me a lot. Even, within 2 years or 3 years, I was recording my own music, and I was in a couple bands, and I was working in recording studios, and it was a lot of fun. I got a lot of experience out of it, and I still play my guitar pretty much at least 2 or 3 times a week. It's become something that's just very enjoyable in my life. I don't, try to pursue it anymore. I'm old and fat. Nobody wants to see a fat 42-year-old bouncing around on stage, but it's still a very enjoyable thing for me, and I'm glad that I learned how to play, and I'm glad that I spent the time, and that it was a thing that came naturally to me. But I'm one of those people that I would be considered one of those improvisational people. I don't know how to read music. I understand music theory. In other words, I know what chords will work together. I know what scales go with those chords. And if somebody says, if they can tell me what key we're playing in, I can play a solo to it. So, hey, we're in E. Okay, great. Hey, we're in E minor. Oh, okay, G. So I know where to go on the neck, and it's one of those things that it just worked for me that way. It's a weird way to learn music, and I think guitar, maybe piano, but mostly guitar is one of those instruments where it's one of those rare instruments where you don't really have to know how to read music to play it. I think, for violin or clarinet, though, I could see somebody playing clarinet or any kind of those more solo-y instruments. Oh, heck, fiddle players. I guess if you think of a violin, you think of a fiddle player. What are you playing? Oh, I don't know, but watch this. Sat around with their, dad or mom and played bluegrass music and learned how to play. I've got a lot of friends that are bluegrass players that don't know how to read a lick of music, but they're all amazing instrumentalists. So, anyway, it's an odd subject, but seeing that concert tonight, it brings back memories of being in high school and being in love with music, and we're going to see if we can pull this guy out. Now, it might take a lot more fuel than I want to, but I'm going to try to pull this guy along with us. So, my gosh, those kids. Well, at least they're upstairs now. Let's see here. Well, I want to zoom back. There we go. And that truck will pull too, so the good news is I'm not going to be just pulling this alone. It's one of those features that they put in that helps, but it doesn't help. I'll try to go this way a little bit. Oh, and there's our last cloak point too. Should probably uncloak that while we're here in the vicinity. I'll probably take the truck to do that if it's still running. My gosh, I'm beating the heck out of it getting across this river. Hopefully they're low damage amounts. That truck's probably going to sink in where my tire treads are. So anyway, I was in a band though with a friend who was a technical. He was a keyboard player, and I'm like, dude, we're just playing an E, and he's like, what should I play? We'd have to show him what to play. Even me not knowing what to play. I'm like, well, why don't you try this? He's like, oh, okay, and then he could play it. But we had to show him what to do. He couldn't just come up with it himself, and that's not an uncommon problem. It's not something that non-technicals they're not able to they're oftentimes not able to do that kind of thing. So okay, good. So we're gonna drop him off there, and we'll come back. I need to watch my fuel levels with this because we're already down to half a tank. So, but we've come a pretty good distance on the map, so I think we'll be able to do this one tank each way. We'll have to see. If I run out, there might be a rescue mission involved. I had another guy too. I did a project more recently, maybe like 6 or 7 years ago. There's a guy that's in a local band called Styly Wild or something like that. It's kind of goofy. They're like a Pink Floyd cover band, but they also do their own music. And he actually had a solo album that he was working on, and we were talking. He's a really nice guy. We're still friends. I see him pretty frequently, and he's always trying to get me to join his band, but I don't want to. I'm not into it. So, because they do, like I said, mostly like 70s and 80s rock, and I'm just not. It's not my thing. Though I like the style of music, I'm really kind of not in that scene anymore. So, he came over and I helped him record a solo album, and I had a friend of mine who plays saxophone come over to do it, and he's like, well, what do I play? And I'm like, well, can you just come up with something? And he just couldn't do it. He's like, I don't know what to play. And so I coached him through and played stuff on the keyboard. Like, why don't you try this? And then he'd play it back. And we were able to get a good solo put together doing that. But it was just interesting to me, like, wow, you can't just come up with your own melody line? But yet he's a really good saxophone player. It's funny to me. But he plays what other people write. It's just funny. Like, no ability to improvise whatsoever. Wow, I bogged down. That's kind of amazing. Hopefully we'll be able to pull ourselves out without tipping the whole kit and caboodle over here. There we go. What's a froggy? Is it foggy? It's a really October rain night, man. It's like 50 degrees outside and pouring rain. And we got a wedding Saturday, and I'm like, tonight's Thursday, and I'm thinking, man, I hope that clears up, because it's going to be an awful wedding if it doesn't. It's a nice day for a awful wedding. It's a nice day to get freezing cold. I'll stop. Sorry. I'm stopping. Okay, so we're going to unload. Boop. And now we're going to hop over to the other truckie. Now that we have this guy unstuck, see if I can get to some flat ground here. We're gonna unlock that thing with this truck, but oh good, I only did 10 damage. That's not bad. We're gonna first pull this thing up to where there we go. Where we are not on squishy mud. I want to get on a harder surface here before I dump the trailer off, because I'm definitely not going to be taking that trailer down to that point. This truck will get there, but it won't get there with that trailer on. So I'll try to get to a nice flat, dry patch up here. Hopefully where that grass is growing will be a little... Yeah, we're still in the muck here. I'm going a lot farther than I wanted to go. I wanted to just pull up a little bit, but we got plenty of gas, so I guess that's not a problem. Oh, this is even worse here. I was thinking like over there maybe. Oh boy. This is not going to plan. This is not working. Alright, so we're gonna, instead of wasting gas, we're just gonna winch. The good news about what we did tonight with the concert is that we got to go to dinner afterwards. That was fun. The kids had a good time. We had a good time. Had some good food. I had a hamburger. Shh. Probably shouldn't have hamburgers, but I love it. Okay, so we're going to put the... Oh, those were down the whole time? What? Jeez. All right, detach. And we're going to pull forward. And we'll come back and get that in a minute. Let's go unlock that point. It's the moment we've all been waiting for, the final uncloaking. It's the final uncloaking. I don't know, somehow my kids found Europe. Like, not, obviously, not the map, on the map, but the band Europe. And they've all been listening to the Final Countdown over and over again. And then Ryan ended up buying 2 of their albums. It's cracking me up. They were, if I remember right, man, they were like the first haircut band to really break the scene. Like, the Final Countdown came out in like 85. And then immediately after that, it was like all those bands that had been in LA, like trying to get big. All of a sudden, they were like all over the place on MTV. But the Final Countdown, I think, was, if I remember right, that was the first song that really got popular. And it was the first music video of that kind, really, that, I mean, other bands had made music videos, but it made it into like the top 10 on the VJ list. Are you kidding? I'm going to get stuck right here like this. Seriously? It's like RNG with World of Tanks. Jeez, it's almost as bad. Well, the good news is there's a big stick over there I can pull myself up to. Just enough to get in there. There we go. All right. Now hopefully we'll be able to grab this tree again over to the left here. Back when MTV had VJs. It's like, oh man, you could actually see music videos on MTV. Not that they were good, they were terrible. Well, it's easy to get there, but man, not so easy getting back out, huh? Alright, so we are going to dump down on the main road here, hopefully. Not break. Good. Perfect. And we'll grab our little trailer and continue on this mucky journey. And this guy's going to dead end over here at the end of the line there as the refueler for the logging truck. And really, it only needs to make one more trip, so the hope is that we can get down there in one trip and then back up in one trip without having to stop for gas. But we may have to stop for gas. We'll see. And we're going to take a shortcut down with the big truck once I have it refueled. Alright, back this up here. And we're going to see about here. We're going to advance. We should be able to link it up. Oh. How could I be so far away? I'm like right there. Aren't I lined up? Pretty lined up. Okay. Oh, maybe I pulled too far back. Okay, that's probably the problem. I probably went too far. There we go. Now let's try it. Yep, that was it. No, I don't want to winch. I want to... No, I don't want to winch. There. And then we're going to lift the trailer up. Boop. Wait a minute. What? I hate the way the trigger does that, because now I can't tell where it's at. I guess it's up, right? Okay. See how much... It's probably going to take us half a tank to get back there. Look how much gas we used just unlocking that point. Man, that was a lot of gas. A lot more than I figured. At least here there's trees that this truck can grab onto, so it's not like if I get stuck, I'm probably going to have to winch myself up this hill. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it up the hill. The truck's going to get dug in. Yeah. Alright, so... Come on, baby. Oh. Didn't go the distance. Guess we're going this way. Yeah, getting those trailers up the hills it's a nightmare. Come on. There we go. Now the trailer's on flat ground, we'll start getting some action going here. Now I'll probably have the same problem going through here with this truck. Whoa, camera. That I did with the big truck, and unfortunately that truck turfed up all these rocks, so the rocks are going to give us all kinds of problems here, but hopefully we'll winch onto one of these trees. Look at how deep that's getting. Whoa. Alright, so good. We can pull to that tree. That'll help us get up this hill. I just don't want to dump it over. We're really close to dumping over. Let's see what else we can reach. I'm hearing music in the background here. Ethereal music. My wife is listening to music upstairs. Come on. Come on. Good boy. We're almost there. I only need enough fuel to get here once, so still got over a quarter tank left. But we are starting to run a little bit low. See if this will reach across anywhere. No. So unfortunately we're going to have to go for a rear winch, which that never works, but this is really not where I want the camera. Can I see a different angle, please? Thank you. Now, this might tip the truck over, but hopefully it'll give us some oompa loompa juice. There we go. That worked. Good. All right. And we are back on the main road, and the night is about to fall, so we're going to pull in here and get that big rig fueled up and get it headed back down the coastline here. And that's probably how we're going to cut across to the beach. So we're going to pop this guy right in here, and then going to change trucks to the E model. Here we go. Your truck is not carrying any loads. Thank you. Couldn't figure that out on my own.